Hey friends, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie if you're new here, and today we're finally going to be looking at the Holo Taco glitters that I picked up last month. I think this was even before their Black Friday sale, so it's been a long time coming. I originally had this video planned for a couple weeks ago, but then I ended up grabbing Choco-Holo during their Black Friday sale. And then, I got sick, the whole thing. So it's just, I'm so sorry that we're delayed, but I mean, it's still the holiday season, and what better time to review these glitters than right now. So let's just get into the swatches. The first shade is Naughty List, which is a red jelly packed with micro, small, and medium holographic hex glitters. So I already swapped out the brushes on these, but even with the wide brush, I did have to dip back into the bottle a bit during the first coat, so that was a little bit annoying, but I think I just didn't grab enough polish on the brush, so you just have to be mindful of that. But it definitely was super packed with glitter, and the base is really pigmented too, so you get a lot of coverage on the first coat. I still ended up doing a second coat just to even out the color and deepen it up a little bit. But wow, this is just the perfect holiday red. I definitely recommend wearing these glitters with a peel-off base coat because otherwise you are going to be scrubbing glitter for days, and that's just not fun. But this shade is just so beautiful, and I cannot recommend it enough. Next up we have Plumb Luck, which is a plum purple base with holographic and also magenta glitters, which I really love. This is hands down my favorite one, and I'm so excited I finally have it since I missed out last year. So I went in with a little bit more polish so I didn't have to dip back into the brush, and I got pretty great coverage on the first coat, but there were still some bald spots. But on two coats, it evens out, and that plum base deepens up a little bit more too, which is just so beautiful. I absolutely adore this shade, and like I mentioned, the magenta glitters are such a gorgeous addition. I think they give so much depth to the polish as opposed to just being like a sort of deep purple metallic glitter. So I think everyone just needs this shade. The next shade is Black Hollow Wish, which is a black jelly base packed with the same micro, small, and medium holographic glitter mix. So I pretty much had the same experience with the application where it basically needs two coats to be fully opaque, but I think this one is such a perfect shade, especially for New Year's Eve. These also will obviously dry down a little gritty due to all of those glitters, so I would recommend doing two coats of a thick glossy top coat or doing a coat of your glitter grabber if you happen to have one. I actually have never tried one before, so if you have any recommendations, let me know. But yeah, this one is just so beautiful, and alternatively, I think you could get away with doing one layer of this over a black cream. It might be a little sparse in some areas, and I still would recommend just doing these in full coverage coats because the depth of these glitters is just so mesmerizing. Next up, I grabbed Frostlay, which is an icy blue jelly base packed with the same holographic glitter mix, and this one was definitely the sheerest one of them all, where the base is like barely tinted. I definitely think this shade would be best on 3 coats, but I still don't think it was 100% opaque on me. There's some spots here and there, but honestly, I didn't find it to be that much of a problem since there's obviously so much glitter to distract. Maybe you could also just sponge on another layer. I think that would probably give you the best glitter payoff in the least amount of coats, so different options. Either way, I absolutely love this shade, and in case you missed it, it made it into my winter favorites video along with Plumb Luck because I think they are just so magical for this time of year. And the last shade I eventually grabbed was Choco-Holo, which thank you all for being so patient, waiting for this one to come in, and also the delay with me getting the flu. But anyway, this is a chocolate brown jelly that's packed with holographic glitters as well as gold glitters. So it's kind of similar to Plumb Luck with having that extra added glitter in there. So to be honest, I was almost a little disappointed when this one came in because it just had so much more gold than I was expecting. So it ended up just looking a little bit more yellowy brown, which I wasn't really a fan of. But it gave me really great coverage on the first coat, probably the best out of all of them, even though it still had the skinny brush. So I thought that was interesting, but this one is definitely one of the darker shades, so maybe that was it. And I did end up liking it more after the second coat deepened the color a little bit. But yeah, I guess I didn't really realize how much gold glitter was actually in here. And I still think it's super beautiful. I just, needed a little bit of time to adjust. So I've had Play Rosé in my collection for a while, but I figured I can still swatch it with the rest of these. So this is a rose gold tinted base with the same holo glitter mix. And while it was a little sheer on the first coat, I found that it looked really great on 2 coats, so I usually stop there. I absolutely love rose gold polishes, which explains why I already had this one in my collection, and this for sure is one of my favorites. I just really love that it has this almost peachy kind of tone to it. I feel like rose gold can vary so much depending on the brand and I guess people's personal preferences, but I definitely am a fan of this one specifically. Moving on to comparisons, I immediately thought of Painted Polish's You Razz My Berries from their fall collection last month and thought it looked really similar in the bottle next to Naughty List since they have that red jelly base packed with holo glitters, but Painted Polish's more base heavy and a slightly deeper tone, so they end up looking super different on the nail. Then I remembered I had Cirque's Fire Opal, which is now discontinued unfortunately, but I'm honestly surprised by how similar they ended up looking once they were on the nail, even though they have pretty different formulas. Cirque's facets are like this tiny, hollow, micro flaky in a tinted jelly base. They don't have any additional sizes of hollow hex glitters, but aside from that, I feel like these were pretty comparable. Not exact dupes, but if you missed out on Fire Opal, I really think Naughty List would be such a great alternative. Next up for Black Holo Wish, I wanted to compare it to Mooncat's Stealth Mode, which was one of their earlier releases. So in theory, this is the closest to a dupe when it comes to a black jelly holo glitter mix, but you can see Mooncat's bottle definitely has this added blue holo glitter, similar to how Plumb Luck has magenta and Choco-Holo has gold. But on the nail, I feel like you don't really see that blue glitter so much. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I do have a second lamp on, and once I turned it off, I feel like these became 100% identical. So if you happen to have either of these polishes, I don't really think you would need the other one. Next for Frostlight, I wanted to show a quick bottle comparison to Cirque's Aquamarine, which is another from their Facets line, but you can see Aquamarine has an even icier blue tint and that super fine hollow micro flaky, so they're not similar. Then I remembered Zoya's Elsa, which came out in their spring collection, and I thought that might be a little bit more comparable since it was a blue hollow glitter polish, but the formula is definitely really different. Elsa is way more base heavy and it even has this almost purple sheen to it, so I definitely think you can justify having both if you're a fan of these type of polishes. And lastly, for Play Rosé, I have Mooncat's Confectious to compare it to, which they actually recently discontinued. I had it on my list for a while and I was debating getting it since I already had Play Rosé, And as you can see, I definitely could have skipped this one, but I'm not too mad since, again, I just really love a rose gold glitter, so I can never have enough in my collection. So on the nail, they are not exact dupes since Confectious has more of this irregular hollow flaky glitter instead of uniform hex glitters, but they end up looking almost identical on the nail since they're pretty much the same shade. So that wraps up my swatch and review and comparisons for these Holo Taco glitters. So I'm super excited about them because I have been wanting some of these for like the longest time, and it just feels so good to finally have them in my collection. Obviously, I think at this point you already saw a number of these make it into like my winter favorites kind of video, and Play Rosé, for example, is another favorite of mine. I'm just so happy about them. They are just beautiful polishes, beautiful formulas. I'm wearing Naughty List for the holiday weekend, and yes, if you missed it in my stories last night, I ended up breaking my nail, so I unfortunately had to chop them all off. So what better way to cheer up than to put on one of these gorgeous shades? So I'm still excited for the holidays with my little shorties because they are looking so cute and so sparkly. But yeah, I would love to know what you think of these Holo Taco glitters, if you have the full collection, because obviously I'm missing a few of the shades from both the original line and their holiday collection from last year. But even though I absolutely love these, I'm not gonna be picking those up because I already have polishes that are similar, and as you saw in my comparisons for these, like I already also have polishes that are kind of similar to this. So yeah, I don't really need any more kind of dupes in my collection, but I still just can't recommend them enough in case you don't have anything like these. They are so, so beautiful. So yeah, this is gonna be my last video before the holiday weekend. So happy holidays to everyone who's celebrating, especially to anyone who is celebrating alone or, you know, away from family, or just having a very difficult time, because, you know, normally the holidays are very fun and happy, and I obviously like lean into that, but I know sometimes it can be really, really hard for people. So, you know, if that happens to be you, I hope that watching this video cheered you up a little bit, and, you know, I hope that you remember you are absolutely loved, especially during this time of year. So anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.